Ever wonder what it's like to go on a time travel journey? Well, understanding the international dateline can feel a bit like that. On a Sunday morning, you're on your way from the United States to Japan, looking forward to eating Japanese food and seeing Mount Fuji. Crossing the Pacific, you realize it's suddenly Monday. On the return trip, you leave Japan on a Friday and then arrive in the United States on a Thursday. This happens as you cross the international dateline. So, how does the international dateline work? Well, before we begin, like and subscribe for more interesting content like this. Do you know when and why the international dateline was established? Well, let's find out together. The I.D.L was founded at the International Meridian Conference in Washington, D.C. in 1884 by Chief Executive Chester A. The gathering, which Arthur called, featured delegates from 26 different countries. Like other world leaders, the president recognized the need to set guidelines for a global consensus on longitude and time. As world trade expanded, communication technologies advanced, and nations became more dependent on one another towards the end of the 1800s. It became essential that all clocks be set to the same time. Here's a fun question for you to get you thinking. If you traveled westward across the international dateline, do you gain a day or do you lose a day? Well, let's dive deeper into the details to find out. The world is divided into 24 time zones, which are designed so that, in general, noon is defined at the point at which the sun crosses the line of longitude or median at any given place. But there needs to be a place where the days differ, where a day actually starts on the planet. The international dateline therefore roughly lies along the 180-degree line of longitude, which is located exactly halfway around the Earth from Greenwich, England. You get an extra day when you cross the east-west line. You will lose a day if you cross from the west to the east. An imaginary line that spans the Pacific Ocean and connects the north and south poles of the Earth is known as the international dateline. Depending on which way you're going, you either gain or lose a day when you cross it. You gain a day when traveling westward, and you lose a day when traveling eastward. As soon as the traveler crosses the I.D.L, they will immediately go back to June 24th. For instance, if they're heading eastward across the Pacific Ocean on June 25th, from Wake Island to the Hawaiian Islands. On June 26th, though, they will reach Wake Island if they're moving in the other direction. There's no physics-defying magic involved, even though the traveler appears to move forward or backwards in time. So here's how the international dateline works. When someone traveled around the globe in the West, they would find that the absence of the international dateline, it appeared as though they gained an extra day when they got back home. Following their homecoming from their circumnavigation of the Earth in 1522, this is what happened to Ferdinand Magellan's crew. Suppose, for the purpose of this example, that you depart the United States on Tuesday morning and travel by plane to Japan. Time zones and the speed of your aircraft cause the time to move slowly when you're traveling west. However, it will be Wednesday as soon as you cross the international dateline. You fly from Japan to the United States on the return journey home. On Monday morning, you depart from Japan, but as you travel east across the time zones in the Pacific Ocean, the day rapidly grows later. But the moment you cross the international dateline, the day turns to Sunday. Let us imagine, however, that you took the same route around the globe as Magellan's crew. That would require you to set your watch each time you travel to a new time zone. When you return to your home after fully circumnavigating the planet as they did, you would discover that your watch had advanced by one day. When you got home, your analog watch, if you had one with a built-in date, would have moved forward a day. The issue is that your friends who never went could correct you by pointing to their analog watches, or just the calendar, indicating that it is actually the 24th rather than the 25th. The international dateline helps you from getting confused by having you roll back the date on your analog watch as you cross its imaginary border, or more likely just in your mind. For someone orbiting the Earth eastward, the entire procedure operates oppositely. Here's a thought-provoking question to get started with. What do you think would happen to our understanding of time if we did not have the international dateline? Well, let's look into why this imaginary line is so important. As the Earth circles the Sun, its axis rotates counterclockwise, or from west to east. This means that different parts of the planet receive different amounts of direct sunlight. For example, when it is noon on one part of the Earth when the sun is at its zenith, another part of the planet might be entirely in shadow. Or it might be sunrise or sunset. It also implies that you could experience perpetual daylight and never see darkness if you could somehow outrun the Earth's rotation, which is the equivalent to the speed of about 1,000 miles per hour. Yet, unless they're at the International Space Station, humans do not travel at such high speeds, and typically remain stationary when at rest. Time zones are thus used globally to enable people to experience daylight hours in roughly the same amount, i.e. to experience a typical day from sunrise to sunset. It was in 1876 that Sir Stanford Fleming proposed the first time zone map. Fleming's original 24-hour time zone system is still in use today, albeit with several notable changes. Since the Earth is a sphere, it can be divided into 360 equal sections, or 360 degrees as any sphere can. The logic behind the division of the planet into 24 zones stems from this fact. From what is known as the prime meridian, a line of longitude that passes through the British Royal Observatory in Greenwich, United Kingdom, all of these zones are numbered sequentially eastward. In 1851, the UK was among the strongest and most developed countries on the planet in terms of technology. In addition to having a strong fleet, the British were also highly skilled at timekeeping and navigation, employing the most advanced technology to calculate the position of time of any place in the world. All other longitude measurements are made up from the prime meridian, which is located at 0 degrees longitude, Greenwich Mean Time, or GMT for short, a 24-hour timekeeping system, which was also developed along the prime meridian. Time zones go up 1 hour in step when traveling east from the prime meridian and down to 1 hour in step when traveling west. Earth, of course, has an end. At some point you have to start over, or depending on which way you're going to go forward or backwards in time. Are you eager to learn more interesting things about the I.D.L? Well, we have everything that you need to know, but before that, make sure to subscribe to our channel and like our videos. Now before we continue, let's ask a question. What happens when you cross the international date line? London, United Kingdom, is 8 time zones apart from San Francisco, California. Going east from San Francisco to London takes you 8 time zones forward, which translates to an 8-hour jump. So if the time in San Francisco is 1 p.m., the time in London is 9 p.m. on the same day. However, moving 8 time zones in the opposite way from San Francisco at 1 p.m., for example, west across the Pacific Ocean to the Siberian city of Yakutsk, complicates matters. It isn't as simple as removing 8 hours from San Francisco time. You begin by deducting an hour for each time zone traveling west, bringing you to 9 a.m. But then you hit the I.D.L, which changes everything. Now you must add a complete 24 hours to your calculations and jump a whole day forward, making it 9 a.m. the following day. But you're not finished yet, because all the time calculations are based on Greenwich, but you must subtract 4 hours because Yakutsk is 4 time zones west of the international date line. So if it's 1 p.m. in San Francisco on Wednesday, it is 5 a.m. in Yakutsk on Thursday. The international date line is the product of time tracking systems used worldwide, which are configured so that the sun crossing the appropriate longitude line approximately corresponds with regional noon. It gives us a standard procedure to adjust our time according to our route. As previously mentioned, people traveling eastward across the date line move their clocks 1 day backwards, and people traveling westward move theirs 1 day forward. This serves as the primary purpose for the international timeline. Determining the time zone of each nation is one of its other functions. Every nation has a time zone that relates to GMT. For example, New York is in a time zone of -4 hours GMT. When it is 0 GMT, for instance, it will be 5:30 a.m. in India the following day and 8 p.m. in the day before in New York. So the next time you're planning a journey around the world, or simply curious about time zones, remember that the international date line serves as a pleasant reminder that even time has its own unique set of rules. It is the invisible line that allows you to experience yesterday, today, and tomorrow practically simultaneously. And if you're on a time travel journey without leaving the Earth, safe travels, and remember to double check your calendar. So comment down what you think about this imaginary line. Have you ever been curious about Russia owns a piece of Germany, Kaliningrad, or Königsberg? Well, you can find out that and more here in this video.